Welcome to Ascension Arcana Tarot. This is Christine with a weekly romance reading. Today's date is November 13th, but this and all of my readings are timeless, so whenever it shows up for you, there's probably a message for you here. It's a general collective reading, so as always, please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. And as I said that, oh, that's really funny. Okay, this is really... Okay, I'm going to explain this story to you guys because I feel like this is just about following your intuition. So when I had first picked up this deck, the devil was on the bottom. And I was like, well, it's not a particularly romantic card, but might be like a really important message, right, for someone who's in this collective. So I told God I was going to kind of shuffle once. I'd look at the bottom of the deck again and see what came out. And it was the Queen of Coins on the bottom. I'm feeling called to look at the bottom again. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're in a good spot. So I actually had started a reading already, but my intuition kept telling me no. And as I was reading, it was like, no, 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 no. And after about 2 minutes of trying to do the reading, I was just like, it's pretty obvious to me that God's giving me the message that this is not the reading that he's wanting me to pull. So the fact that I restarted and she's the one who came out feels like God going bing, like, yes, this is the one, right? The Queen of Coins is back. That's such a cool energy. I feel like this could be a divine feminine that I'm reading for. I suspect that probably most of my audience is divine feminine. I think that's pretty standard for who listens to tarot readings on YouTube. But also my friends on my spiritual journey. I know some of them watch my readings. So if that resonates for you, that might be you. So that would be you in an energy of kind of having the things that you need, having your material needs provided for. There's a significant amount of wealth in this card, right? She's a queen. She's dressed, in these beautiful garments. She is adorned with jewels. I'm hearing that sort of similar to like the Nine of Pentacles energy of like she has everything she needs, right? The coin is interesting to me. I'm wondering, I don't even want to shuffle because I don't want to shuffle this card away. It's so beautiful. I'm wondering what that coin is. It has half of an energy of being like an offering, and it has half an energy of being like a shield. So I'm kind of curious to pull and see what we come up with that. The Four of Wands, I absolutely love. This is the 11-11 energy, twin flame energy. It's like a divine union between two people who are very much in love, right? And choosing to commit to each other. It's like a really sweet card. So for a love message, that's a pretty neat overall energy to have on the bottom of the deck. All right, God, what else do you want to say to the folks in this collective here for their romance journey this week? The Five of Cups. So if you are in this collective, there may be a place where you're kind of feeling pessimistic or focusing on regrets from the past, maybe things that you feel you've lost, places you feel like you've made mistakes. This is like a heavy energy of regret and maybe even some depression around it. That kind of the imagery of the Five of Cups that I love is that the figure is always focusing on the three cups that have fallen, even though there are these two cups that are still standing. So kind of a feeling of focusing on the loss rather than on the things that you still have. And kind of what I was just hearing is like, you can't, in spiritual truth, you cannot lose the things that were meant for you. Like, that's just not how the universe works, right? So whatever these things are, these three cups that have spilled, the things that they represent were never meant to be yours anyways. I'm coming back to that analogy I use sometimes around having like a castle built on sand, right? And kind of that tower card energy of like wiping away everything that's built on sand. It's not built on like a sustainable foundation of alignment with love, right? And this does not feel sudden to me at all, so I don't mean that aspect of it, but just the fact that that's getting kind of swept away, right? Those things that are out of alignment are getting swept away from your life. But it's like you're focusing more on the loss of those things and not recognizing that the universe did that on purpose to help you because those things were never meant to be yours anyways. And you have like room in your life now for these sweet other 2 cups and what they represent to grow. The 6 of Cups is a really sweet energy to get here. I love that. I'm drawn to the 2 fish, like kind of dancing around in the light up there. It feels like a really delightful, like playful energy to me. And even just the flowers like blossoming from the cups. I was just hearing in my head, like, this card, she's a mermaid, right? So she's actually submerged under the water. So the fact that there's flowers growing out of the cups is not really necessarily what would happen in nature, right? Like those flowers would be growing off a bush or like a stalk on a plant. But what I'm drawn to is the fact that it's water, which represents the emotions in tarot. And for this card, it's deep water. Like she's got this kelp around her. She's kind of like at the bottom of the sea here. It's reminding me of some readings that I pulled recently, full readings, but also some of the shorts where it's been around like diving into the depths of your emotion. I think that was one of the shorts that I had titled it something like that, diving into the depths of your emotions, right? And doing that healing work. And I feel like her healing work is so profound that the sweetness of like these flowers are just blooming from the cup, because her growth is so significant. Her healing is so significant. And now she's kind of got like this spilling over cup that's filled with like these beautiful flowers, which I feel are symbolizing her healing, right? And letting love fill the spaces that were previously filled with upsets. But I'm really drawn to those two fish. It's cool. It's reminding me of what's that show? Avatar: The Last Airbender, and how there was like there was this pond and there were spirits in them, right? And one of them was like the moon spirit and one of them was the sun spirit, and they were like twin flame spirits. It was really cool. And they made like a yin yang symbol where one of them was black and one of them was white, and they would just swim in a circle like that, kind of like this swirling yin yang energy. That's totally what that's reminding me of. That's really cool. I feel like it's some union energy, especially with that light there, representing it sort of being like a divine union. So like a really high, if twin flames don't resonate for you like they do for me, be like a really high level soulmate, a really spiritual partnership, right? It's really cool. I'm also drawn to this being similar to this sun energy. Like it's almost in the exact same spot on the card even. So I feel like that's what she's ignoring, right? She's kind of looking away from that. And I'm just imagining these 2 fish like dancing in, I don't know if it's a sunset or a sunrise, but I'm imagining them dancing in that light. But like she just can't see it because she's feeling sad, and like, that's okay. Sometimes we feel sad about things. Sometimes we feel regret. The best way to, it's okay. That's really funny. I love when the tarot cards do that. That's so cool. I feel like, I'm feeling an energy of having compassion for yourself here in this 5 of Cups. Like we all go through things that are difficult, right? And sometimes you just need to feel that sadness. And sometimes you just need to process, the regrets, right? And just love yourself there, and be gentle with yourself there. It's okay. It's okay to just accept that that's how you feel, and to just like give yourself lots of patience and compassion and love. So I just talked about the moon. It's really funny because in Avatar, well, I don't want to give you guys any spoilers. If you are interested in the show and you haven't watched it, maybe fast forward a minute or two because I'm going to talk about something that happens. So it's the fish that represents the moon that actually incarnates and becomes like an actual person, right? Who one of the main characters like falls in love with. So it's like really, it's just a funny confirmation for me that this card is coming out. So yes, again, that feeling of diving into the depths of your emotions, that's what this moon card is all about. And sort of sometimes like the fear and the uncertainty, because it's like your unknown depths, right? I mean, that's where your greatest fears, your greatest, your worries, your deepest insecurities, like they all live within that emotional place so deep at the depths of your heart. Like, but I'm really feeling that. I'm super drawn to, again, the flowers as representing like that blooming, that growth, that healing, like the beauty that can come as you're transforming like some of these feelings. And I'm really drawn to the moon around her head as like a halo. It's reminding me of like Renaissance artwork of like saints and holy people, right? How they would always have like that big circular halo around their head. So I'm really getting that feeling of like enlightenment. But it's cool. I don't know how to describe that energy. So sometimes I don't know how to say this. Maybe as I'm talking through it, I'll get the words. With the Sun card, it often feels like enlightenment to me, but it's kind of like a hot, bright enlightenment. It's like an outward radiating enlightenment. This moon enlightenment to me feels very cool and very peaceful, and I think more like inward radiating. I just channeled the High Priestess card, so kind of that like really holy, really inward, really intuitive energy is what this enlightenment feels like to me. So that I think that's probably the best way to say the energy. It's not that like outward beaming glow of enlightenment. It's really like a peaceful, I just feel like a calm, like washing over you, like a peace washing over you. That's a really cool energy. Yeah. This is 1,000,000% for this collective is somebody who's diving way in and doing some deep inner work. And again, I feel like if this resonates for you, I do feel like that feminine energy from the Queen of Coins. I don't usually get gender from the cards, so that's kind of interesting. It's the only reason why I'm mentioning it. And I feel like it's regrets about a relationship, right? 'Cause we are asking God for romance readings. So this could be a place where you have regrets in your current relationship, or maybe a place where you had like a former relationship and you regret that it ended. I do feel that this could be kind of looking back at a relationship that happened maybe like a year or two ago, right? I mean, like, oh, if only I had done this or hadn't done that, or oh, like, why did I pick a fight about this thing or that thing, or I should have just like kept my mouth closed, or I should have whatever. I feel a lot of like shoulda, woulda, coulda energy from this. And if it is your current relationship, I feel like there might be a bit of like a bit of a divide or some tension right now, which is kind of probably the thing that you're regretting. So I feel like the universe is asking you to really take that energy, go deep within you, and give yourself tons of love there and allow that to transform. Anything else to say here? Okay. I love when this happens. I love you, beautiful universe. How cool is that? I talked about this card. Okay, so I was just talking about doing the inner work, right? And the 8 of Coins, I'm sure you guys saw the cards. They were like a little jumbly. That was the first one that I noticed with my eyes. The 8 of Coins is that. It's about honing your craft. It's about doing the work. So for me, like I told you guys, I practice my inner spiritual work with the mirror exercise. And that's what that feels like to me, is like having some sort of process that you do. So I've talked about this before. It can be journaling, it can be meditation. Maybe you like go for a walk and that's kind of how you like process your feelings. Maybe it's talking to a friend, maybe it's talking to God, right? Whatever you do that kind of helps you dive into the depths of your soul and just like be with yourself in that place, wherever it feels scary or is hurting, or you're like wishing that you had acted differently. I'm just feeling this like soothing, peaceful energy. And that's this guy doing the work and being really dedicated to healing yourself there, right? That's so beautiful. I love that. The Wheel of Fortune to me is feeling like whatever this sadness is, as you're going within and doing this healing, I'm feeling that feeling of it flipping everything on as like a 180, right? So a lot of times this card for me represents like the universe kind of intervening to anywhere that you're a bit off course or like out of alignment with love, or kind of with your highest good, right? I was going to say destiny, but I don't know if that quite resonates for me, but it does feel like maybe being a bit out of alignment with your highest good, maybe a little wonky on your path, and the universe kind of comes in and like nudges you towards your highest good. Because I feel very much that if you're in this collective, you are choosing love. You are choosing to love yourself and to heal this, but it's just that you're like in a bit of a funk right now. I do feel like a hopelessness and a kind of depression energy from that, and like that pessimism. And I feel like just meeting yourself there, right? Recognizing that that's how you feel and just giving yourself a lot of love and patience is really sweet. The Strength card, I love that. That's like one of my favorite cards. So the Strength card is really about kind of that concept of taming your inner beast. So really being super patient with yourself and the places within you that are kind of like raw and like animalistic, right? It's like impulses, big emotions, like kind of the tendency to let your emotions drive the car rather than like your logic drive the car, right? And she meets that part of herself with so much love and so much gentleness and compassion that she kind of tames that part of herself. So I'm feeling that for sure here. And I've even talked about that throughout this reading, that like just meeting yourself there with love and compassion. And I feel like she's really emphasizing gentleness as well. Be gentle with yourself, you know? It's okay. You're in a tender spot. I feel this card as like a raw nerve in my chest. I don't know how else to describe that. I'm like literally feeling like a nerve sticking out that has like no covering on it. It just feels very raw. Be gentle, 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 and soft. Like I'm super drawn to how soft like even her hair looks, and like the lion, and sort of like feeling in my mind's eye of my senses, I guess, like how soft it would be to like pet the lion and kind of have it cuddled close to you like that. Like just be so soft. The Nine of Coins is similar to the Queen of Coins. I even mentioned the Nine of Coins when I was talking about her. That's that energy of she has everything that she needs, right? She's provided for. She has resources. She has free time. She has stability, safety. She's like kind of in this cozy walled off garden, hanging out with her falcon, right? Like doing cool stuff. But I feel that. I feel like you might not align with that energy right now. It's a very the Nine of Pentacles is actually a very like single energy, so it's interesting. It's notable to me that it's showing up in a romance reading. I feel like this is another one of those where the reading is talking about you getting right within yourself in order to have like progress within your union, your partnership, like whatever resonates for you. But yeah, this is a card of like she has everything that she needs. It feels like an energy of breaking away from codependency and like a really healthy independence. I actually really am liking the vibe of this card in this reading. I'm wondering if maybe if you're in this collective, there's some healing to do around codependency. It could even be part of what are the regrets here represented in the cups. It's interesting. It feels really good though. It feels like a place of you finding your strength and being independent and awesome, and like how attractive that energy is. I feel that a lot. Like this woman is whole and complete unto herself. She does not need anyone to like complete her, right? So it's almost like it loses like this desperate clingy energy, and she's just chill. She's like so chill. The two of these are very tied together for me. She's very chill, and that energy is very attractive. So I feel like kind of a message here too of like, make sure that you know your value, that you are not obligated to accept every invitation that is extended to you. So as you're working through this energy, you may become like very attractive and maybe have people approaching you or like asking you out or whatever. And I just feel the confidence and like the really healthy pride in her. I guess that's the right word. I don't know if that's quite the right word. But she knows that she's done an amazing job for herself. She knows her value. She knows that she's worked hard to get where she is and to be complete and be healthy and whole and happy. And Just knowing that you kind of have the upper hand, right? You get to decide who gets access to you, who gets access to your time, your energy, your resources, all those juicy pentacles that you've done such an amazing job of cultivating for yourself. You may be a person who is healing through like some people-pleasing energy, or maybe just have not had a lot of confidence in yourself in your life, and you kind of feel like you have to accept the first offer that's extended because maybe you're afraid you'll never get another offer. So if that resonates for you and you're in this collective, as always, use your own judgment, make your own decisions. That's just the energy that I'm getting from these cards, is very much knowing your value, and you know that it's a big deal that you've worked on yourself and cultivated this beautiful life for yourself. And you don't have to share that with anyone that you don't want to share it with, right? You don't have to say yes to the first offer. What advice do you have for the folks in this collective on their romance journey, God? Ooh, the Emperor. Okay. All right, I can dig it. Yeah. Okay. So he's the divine masculine. It's interesting because I don't usually strongly get gender in the cards. It's like kind of irrelevant, right? It's just the energy. So take this lightly. If it doesn't resonate, just leave it behind. But like I said, I am feeling this Queen of Cups as a divine feminine energy. So to have the Queen of Cups, that's so funny that I just said that. The Queen of Coins as the divine feminine energy. So to have the Emperor come in, that's a big deal. He's kind of the pinnacle of the divine masculine energy in the tarot. I kind of want to clarify him before I talk about him. He kind of just feels like what I'm hearing when I look at him is like, honey, I'm home. Like he's kind of throws the door open and he's like, I'm here. And I see like, okay, this is going to date me, but that guy Fabio, do you guys remember? He was like a model back in the 90s or something, and he had like that long, fabulous hair that was always like blowing in the breeze. Like that's who I'm seeing right now, coming to the door and being like, honey, I'm home. Like it's your greatest honor that he's like showing up at your doorstep. Okay, so I said I want to read more on him, but I actually feel like I'm just channeling that energy that like, this is someone who thinks he's pretty great. And I think it's up to you to use your discernment to decide if you actually think that he's pretty great or if he just thinks that he's pretty great. So I feel like he's going to show up full of confidence and loving himself an awful lot, which may be a good vibe for you and it may totally turn you off. So yeah, I feel like it's that message of you don't have to accept everybody who shows up at your doorstep. You don't have to accept everybody who makes you an offer. Like, I really just am so strongly feeling like, know your value, hold your value, right? You don't have to settle at all. I feel like the Nine of Coins is the epitome of that. Like, she's completely alone and she is just like perfectly happy being that way, right? She has everything that she needs. So we have Temperance, the Two of Coins, and the Sun. It's funny that I talked about the sun and the moon. So this is the example that I was giving you guys from Avatar, The Last Airbender, with those fish in that pond. It's the sun and the moon energy. Temperance and Two of Coins to me is so, like, reading those together, it's so emphasizing that energy of balancing, of the back and forth, the alchemy and the flow. She doesn't really show it in this card, but most temperance cards in most decks will kind of show like the individual pouring like water from one hand to the other, right? It's like a very alchemy and a very flow energy to me. And the Two of Coins in all the decks definitely do that. I'm drawn to the infinity symbol. Strength card doesn't have it on this one, but this is one of the other cards that usually has an infinity symbol, and so is the Magician, which is funny because that's another card of the alchemist, kind of like Temperance. That's neat. So I don't know if that will mean anything to any of you guys. For me, infinity has to do a lot with just twin flames in it being like an infinite connection, and also just the infinite journey of like growing and ascending as a soul and going on to the next adventure and the next adventure and kind of never knowing when it's going to end or what's going to happen, right? Like it's the ultimate adventure, kind of going within yourself, going within the depths of your soul, right? And you don't know what you're going to find there. You're going to find yourself. And it's like, are you going to be who you expected you to be? Or are you going to come out on the other side of this like a completely transformed person, right? It takes a really brave person to be able to do this deep work and kind of hang with the changing, right? The change is inevitable. It's going to happen when you're healing. So I'm very much feeling those two as that alchemy kind of back and forth balancing energy. I feel like, again, it's just another message about this, about balancing yourself, about healing yourself. Maybe even a note about balance around going deep within yourself. So making sure that as you're doing that deep inner work, you're also giving yourself time to rest. So it's like the deep inner work is on one side of this kind of balancing, I don't know what you'd call it, like pendulum or something, right? The deep inner work is on one side, and then there's got to be some deep rest on the other side. It doesn't necessarily have to be like physically stationary rest, right? It could be walking, running, biking. Like if you have physical activities that you like to do to sort of help you process energy and process healing, like do those. That's awesome, right? That's kind of that balance, right? Where you're doing the work and releasing what was healed, releasing what you healed, the old energy, to let in the sun. And so I was just going to try to describe it. And I'm like, I don't have to describe it. It's literally right here. So as you're doing this healing work, remember how I had talked about the aura of this card being like a calm, right? And like an inner radiating rather than an outward radiating like the sun. So now we have that outward radiating card where you're kind of doing that introspection, that inward turning, right? And then this is inevitably what comes of it. It's just so beautiful. This innocent little baby is like sitting in this beautiful garden of sunflowers with all the little butterflies as symbols of transformation around her. This red cloth is like a red banner of victory, and the beautiful happy sun just like beaming down on her, right? I love this. Is such a beautiful reading. Wow. I was like, God, this is not really a very romantic reading. It's just like another one of those where it's talking about you doing this inner work that I feel is going to make space for it. I'm kind of wondering if that's what's going to come on this next row. But anyways, I hope I explained that clearly. So just that balancing, right, of doing the inner work and doing something fun, doing something that helps you release the old energy, right? And then this is what's coming in. So even actively calling that into you, right? I have told you guys I like to just talk to God, and I'll say like, God, I choose to let you fill me with your joy, with your peace, with your freedom, with your success, like with that sweet, sweet, warm light, right? I'm feeling the feeling on my skin of like basking in the sun, and just how wonderful it feels to just like absorb that beautiful, like radiant warmth into your skin. I'm actually getting goosebumps talking about it, just because I'm really feeling this. Like it's an awesome energy. So making sure that you're choosing to release the old things that you've healed, and also calling in that sweetness, that freedom, that warmth, that love, that joy, right? Actively filling those spaces within you with that energy. It's like so beautiful. So beautiful. And the innocence, like I'm really drawn to that little baby girl and how innocent she is. It's a really beautiful card. To the Six of Swords, the King of Cups, Three of Cups, and Judgment. Okay. So, all right, this feels very different. The Six of Swords, for me, is a card of moving on to more peaceful waters. So this Five of Cups energy is certainly not peaceful, right? I mean, to describe that as regret and like depression. I mean, you can see how sad she is just from her posture on the card. So this feels like doing this healing work and moving away from that depressed, sad, like regretful, focusing on the past, pessimistic energy, right? That's what you're moving away from. I'm super drawn to like the sun in her face here. So she's gonna head over here through these rocks and be like, I'm imagining her opening up into like this sunny, glorious, like open ocean that seems to just go on forever. And the freedom of that, right? It's reminding me of the sun card, that opening, that freedom, that light. And the colors of this even are reminding me of the moon. So kind of moving out of those deep emotions, those kind of heavy emotions that you're healing into that sunlight energy and just how beautiful that is. The King of Cups is feeling to me like another divine masculine. And again, I don't usually read the cards like this, so this feels like very specific to me. But this divine masculine feels a lot more aligned than that Fabio, honey, I'm home, like revel in my presence that I was kind of getting from the Emperor. And again, like you may or may not want this person, right? Maybe the Emperor is the man of your dreams. I'm feeling like the King of Cups is a lot more grounded. Him being right after the Six of Swords is feeling to me like this is what you're moving towards, right? He feels, I mean, he's the King of Cups, right? He's the king of the emotions. He's under the water. So he feels like a man who is in touch with his feelings. As opposed to the Emperor, who's feeling to me like a lot of like putting on a show and like bravado and sort of this outside like facade. The King of Cups feels to me like the man who can like go to the depths of your soul with you. Like that's the guy that you want with you as you're healing this energy. He can, hold space for you and kind of understand what you're going through and just meet you and like that really deep, those deep, juicy places like inside of your consciousness. It's a beautiful energy. Yeah, he feels like way more aligned for me. That's beautiful. So as I always caveat and will continue to do, I cannot predict like what a person will do, right? I can't call out somebody's free will or anything like that. So this is just the energy in the cards, but the energy in the cards is feeling like moving towards this. So whether that's actually a person coming in, like I said, if you're already in a relationship, maybe this represents your partner, or it could just be moving towards that energy. But in any case, I do feel like that's what you're moving towards. The Three of Cups is a very interesting card for me here, especially next to the King, because it's feeling like these women kind of these women are all kind of like waiting for him to pick them is kind of what this feels like to me, which is an interesting energy to get to this from this card. This is traditionally the Three of Cups is a card of friendship, right? A card of really joyful companionship. So I feel like this will probably resonate for folks on a lot of different levels. Some tarot readers read this as like a third party energy, and I am actually getting that vibe from this card. It's not, I don't know how to describe this. I grew up playing the piano, right? And when you play the piano, you often are playing like multiple notes at once. If you guys know about music, like a chord, right? To be playing multiple notes at the same time. And I sometimes feel that energy from the cards where each note is like a different piece of energy from the card, I guess. So one of the notes that's here is a third party energy that may or may not resonate for everybody. I don't even know if it's the most significant energy that I'm getting here, but it's definitely there. I'm also feeling an energy of like friendships, right? Maybe you have a friend who can kind of help you through some of this stuff. I do feel like I mostly feel that as third party. That's so interesting. I don't know that I've ever read, I don't think I've ever actually read Three of Cups as a third party energy. Yeah. This is what's coming to me. They're almost reminding me of like a reversed Queen of Wands energy, which is kind of similar to what I was describing with the Emperor with that like Fabio energy. And like, no offense to Fabio, I have no idea if he's like a genuine person or not. It's just like the image that's coming to me to describe the energy. But I'm feeling like almost like mean girl energy from this card. This is really interesting. Like there's a facade here. It feels like there's a facade here that's really in opposition to this 9 of coins. So I feel like the main message that I'm getting here is like, it doesn't matter how many people there are around with like a facade up, or how many people are around who want what's really meant for you. You have the power here to create your own reality. You are this like confident, wonderful person who has created like all of this wealth and abundance for yourself. You have the power to decide what you want to do with these 2 cups. And I feel like one of those cups is this energy that I'm feeling as you. And one of those cups is this king. And it feels like maybe having some confidence or faith in your spiritual journey. I wonder if this will mostly resonate for my twin flame friends, but having confidence in your healing and confidence in like the divine, right? Confidence in yourself. That what is meant for you cannot be taken away from you, right? It kind of feels like I don't know how else to describe that. It's like an illusion. It's like an illusion of what you think might have power here, but really you're the one who's in command of your reality. That's a very interesting energy to get from that card. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. So take that if it resonates. If it doesn't, just leave it behind. I'm still not sure that I've quite explained that all the way, but I think that's probably the best that I can do it. Mostly I'm just feeling, though, it doesn't matter how many fabulous mermaids are kind of like interested in this King of Cups. Like if that's your partner, if you know, if he loves you and you love him and you guys are designed for each other, that's those 2 cups. That's those 2 standing cups. Like that's what's meant for you can't be taken from you. The Judgment card, I feel like that's the angels calling calling you like for your day of reckoning. I'm drawn to the number 20, the XX, so I don't know if that will resonate for anybody. And the butterflies are actually the same butterflies that I commented on in the Sun card. The Judgment card is the card of like having a massive spiritual, like a life-changing spiritual awakening. Having an energy of like rebirth, just complete transformation. It's almost like what I just heard is it's like the death card on steroids. So I don't know that that's really accurate because there's a lot more glory and like brightness and like holy intervention here in the Judgment card as compared to the death card. It's an energy of uplifting and rising and ascending rather than just an ending, which would be like what the death card was. So this feels very significant to me. I'm super drawn to this golden radiance, which I feel like is really only present in the Sun card, although it is reminding me a bit of these 2 little fish, which got me on the Avatar example in the first place. But yeah, this is like a beautiful transformation for you. I feel like it's a huge energy of empowerment, like recognizing through the Strength card, through doing this work, recognizing your own power and seeing your own value and like trusting that this energy, if this is a person coming towards you, that he or she, right? It's just the gender on the card, but that this individual will recognize your value too, right? Recognizing that like you are special and unique. I'm not going to remember the quote. It's reminding me of The Little Prince, which is one of my favorite books. But when he was talking about his rose in the book, he was basically mourning at one point that there's like roses are common, right? They were all over the place. And I think it was the fox that helped the prince recognize like his rose is special because he loves her. She is unique among all the other roses. So just because other roses exist doesn't make them his rose. Like, that's his rose that he loves and tended to and like took special care of, right? And cares about like uniquely. And that's what this feels like. It feels like having this like massive wake up call that just is sort of like, I'm feeling, actually it's resonating off the Wheel of Fortune card, because I was just imagining it's like tossing your life over. And all of a sudden it's like you're just in this new energy of knowing how valuable you are and that you're special, right? And that 100 million lovely mermaids could never be you, right? Just like you could never be this mermaid or this mermaid or this mermaid, right? Or this person or this person. Like, everyone is unique, and I'm really feeling that. That's a really cool energy. I feel like the more that you are your true self and just own who you are, like the good parts, the bad parts, the messy parts, the beautiful parts, the parts that feel really shady and everything in between, like just completely owning who you are and being so authentic and genuine, that's what makes you magnetic to this energy above and beyond all of the billions of people on this planet, right? So that's really powerful. And I feel like this is you. This Judgment card is you in this massive transformation energy, just recognizing the crap out of how awesome you are. That's really cool. I did not think, I keep telling myself, I'm going to do shorter readings and I'm going to get my message across in like 20 minutes, right? And I just look at the clock and it's like 41 minutes. I don't know. I just have fun reading the cards, I guess. It feels delightful to me to give these messages. I especially feel passionate about the ones like this that are like very deeply spiritual in nature. Because this, to me, this does feel like a love reading. It's all about you recognizing how valuable you are. And I'm really feeling this as an energy that's being attracted to you. I also feel like the Emperor is going to show up at your door. So I think it'll be very obvious to you which one is that sort of energy putting on a facade versus which one is the energy that is ready to dive down into the depths of your soul with you. It's very beautiful. So you have 8-8, speak your truth, express yourself. 10-10, High Priestess, expanding consciousness. 5-5, the Electric, creative expression. And 8-8, Queen, divine feminine. That's really sweet. I'm feeling this one, the 8-8, speak your truth, is really vibing off the Strength card for me. That's interesting. And I love that it's like a mouth with flowers pouring out of it. It's making me think of the flowers that we talked about with this healing. I feel like for me, it's resonating around speaking your truth to yourself. And I feel like that's an energy that I've gotten in several readings lately, where it's just about being honest with yourself. There's not a whole lot of partnership energy other than over on this side with these energies coming in, but I'm feeling this over here. Speak your truth to yourself, right? It's like I was saying about that 9 of coins, just completely embracing all that you are, the good, the bad, the ugly, like the things that you don't like about yourself, the things that you regret, and the time that you were grumpy with so-and-so or with your dog or whatever, like just embracing that, like that's you, right? And that's where you're at in your journey, and just loving yourself there. So expressing that truth to yourself, like, you know what? Sometimes I get crabby with so-and-so. Sometimes I get hangry. I regret that I did XYZ 10 years ago or whatever. Just embracing that. High Priestess, I think that I had channeled her around the Moon card, right? I totally feel that expanding consciousness. And I feel called to say again, I feel like this is really important if you're in this collective. So when we heal our consciousness by bringing love to the places that are feeling hurt, we are able to release that hurt energy. We're able to release that as part of the healing. And in choosing to release that and allowing it to go, it's almost like there's a space, an expanded space in your consciousness. And that's where I'm feeling to call in that sun energy, that warmth, that love. It's really funny. I commented on this yesterday. I just looked at the clock and it's 44:44 again. I'm going to interrupt myself for a second because that feels very significant that that time has randomly come up twice. I also just noticed 44:55 and the fives are changes. So for me, fours are about laying the foundation. And I'm feeling like when I'm pulling these love readings and they're kind of more about you doing this inner work, that's what this is. It's laying the foundation. It's laying the foundation within yourself so that you can go from being this person who feels hurt and broken and taken from and sad and depressed and regretful. And you're transforming yourself through doing your healing into this person who is confident. She is like full up of love, of peace, of security. She has everything that she needs, right? The vibe of these is very, very different. It feels like you're building that foundation so that when you step forward with the energies that are incoming, for example, in this one, that's what this feels like for me. You're doing it from a foundation that's like completely filled up, right? With that confidence and that abundance and that security. Yeah, it feels very important to me that you're moving forward in this 9 of coins energy rather than like this 5 of cups energy. And fives for me represent change. So yeah, this feels like a massive change. Like I don't even think I even adequately have words to describe to you how huge this judgment card feels for me. Like this for me, this is how the reading flows, right? Kind of flows like this, and that's the last card. So for judgment to be the last card, it's like God doing a mic drop. Like it's like a huge, huge energy of like, and your entire existence is transformed forever. The end. Like that's how this reading ends. And it's very profound. So yes, fives, letting that change happen, right? And I had talked about change earlier, that like sometimes it's kind of scary, but if we want to grow, we have to be willing to flow with that energy of change. It feels very significant to me. So anyways, that high priestess energy, just supporting, I think, going within, having that inward focus of going like into the depths of your soul. Like you are the high priestess, right? You're sort of navigating yourself through like the rivers of all that you are. It feels really beautiful. That's funny. I just said that and it's making me think of the 6 of Swords card, navigating herself through the water. That's cool. I like that. I feel that moving on energy feels really beautiful. Sorry, I'm very distracted by the energy of that card right now. I'm super attracted to this beautiful sunlight just like gently coming through here and how lovely this transformation is. This 5-5, the electric creative expression. That's interesting. I don't know. I feel like it's vibing off the sun for me. I'm feeling, yeah, okay. I get this. It's feeling like if you were this little piece of you, right? That's your own beautiful inner child, your own beautiful inner toddler. Like, how would you be expressing yourself? Kids are so creative and so expressive because they don't have a lot of self-consciousness, right, around being judged. They just show up and they're their most authentic selves, and like how lovely that is. So I feel like that's part of it, talking about that authenticity. But I'm feeling the advice of like literally imagine your inner 3-year-old. Like what would you do to express yourself at that age? Would you have been like finger painting with, paint all up to your elbows and there's like paint all over the floor? Would you have been doing something active? Would you be giggling and rolling down a hillside? Like, would you be collecting sticks and making like a little fort for a fairy or something? Like, what would be joyful for you that would help to connect you with that beautiful, creative, unself-conscious energy of being like your inner child? It's so lovely. I'm just like, it's making my heart expand even just to talk about it. So I'm definitely reading that right. This last one, Queen Divine Feminine. Yes, and like I said, I don't usually read gender in the cards because it's just a medium. They're like kind of irrelevant, but I really am feeling this for a divine feminine. So again, take that if it resonates. If it doesn't, don't even worry about it. But I just feel like that's the energy. That's the energy. It's someone who knows their value, like a queen knows her value, right? I had said at the beginning I couldn't quite tell if that Queen of Coins was feeling like a shield or an offering. But I feel like it's a little bit of both. She's holding the pentacle to show you that she has phenomenal value. She has incredible value. Look at this. It's like this big solid gold pentacle that she's holding, right? But also that feeling of a bit of reservation. What I was saying about this Nine of Coins and the Emperor energy, that like, you don't have to give everyone who comes in access to your energy, your time, your resources, any of that. So it feels like to me that she's holding her value. She's cherishing how valuable she is. And she also very much has boundaries there, right? That whole pentacle feels like a shield to me. Boundaries around who she's willing to let in. And it feels really healthy. It doesn't feel defensive at all. That's a queen who's not going to have toxic friendships around. That's a queen who's not going to accept being treated abusively, right? They're like really healthy boundaries around just holding her value and knowing how she deserves to be treated and what she deserves. It's a really cool energy. And again, I feel like this is important, like I was saying with that 4444 energy of doing this healing and having that stable foundation, so that when this energy comes in, as you're kind of moving towards this like soul partner, this twin flame, this soulmate, this like righteous, like religious, spiritual connection. Like, I don't even know how to describe this. I just feel like this guy is going into the depths of your soul with you. And to be able to have that foundation within yourself first, so that as the two of you are going into the depths together, you have that solid foundation to rely on. It feels really lovely. This was an awesome reading that, as usual, went way longer than I expected it to. I hope it was helpful. If you're still here listening, happy healing to you. This is a really, really powerful energy, and it has the potential to bring you a lot of transformation here. It's really cool. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment if you wish, as all of those things help me as I'm growing my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye.